Hey there, and welcome to Tales and Truths, where every story uncovers something unforgettable. Today's tale is one of loyalty, instinct, and a dog's unshakable bond with her family. But before we dive in, we'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss tomorrow's special story. Trust me, it's one you'll want to hear. Now, let's get into today's incredible journey. What was in the baby's bottle? Only the dog knew the truth. Emily Carter had always trusted her instincts, both as a mom and a dog owner. Living in a quiet neighborhood in Austin, Texas, she shared her cozy two-bedroom home with her 8-month-old son Noah and her golden retriever Bella. Bella had been with Emily since she was a puppy, and over the years, the dog had proven to be more than just a pet. She was family. Bella had always been calm, affectionate, and gentle, especially around Noah. She'd lie beside his crib, tail wagging softly whenever he giggled or cooed. So when Emily hired a new nanny named Jessica to help with Noah during the day, she expected everything to go smoothly. Jessica, a 26-year-old with glowing references and a warm smile, seemed perfect. But the moment Jessica stepped through the front door, Bella's demeanor shifted. At first, it was subtle. Bella would stand at a distance, ears perked, watching Jessica carefully. Then came the growling, low and quiet, almost like a warning. Emily found it odd, but brushed it off. Dogs can be sensitive to change, she thought. Maybe Bella just needed time to adjust. But days turned into weeks, and Bella's reaction only intensified. She no longer wagged her tail when Jessica entered the room. Instead, she'd freeze, posture stiff, eyes locked onto the nanny's every move. Emily tried to laugh it off at first, even apologized to Jessica more than once. "She's usually so sweet," she'd say, embarrassed. "I'm sure she'll warm up to you." Jessica always smiled politely, insisting it was okay, though her tone grew slightly more uneasy each time. But Bella wasn't just being territorial. Her behavior was focused, specific, and strange. She growled when Jessica picked up Noah. She paced outside the nursery door whenever they were alone inside. More than once, she even positioned herself directly between the nanny and the crib, as if she were guarding something precious. Emily didn't know what to think. Was Bella just being overprotective? Or was there something else? Something she was missing? She didn't want to overreact. But deep down, a quiet voice was starting to whisper a warning. And as much as she tried to ignore it, Bella didn't. Bella saw something. Bella knew. And that would make all the difference. Emily tried to convince herself it was all in her head. Maybe Bella was just adjusting to the change. After all, dogs are creatures of habit, and Jessica was new. But Bella's behavior wasn't just about discomfort, it was about warning. Every time Jessica got near Noah, Bella would react. Not with wild barking or snapping, but with tense, deliberate movements. She'd stand up, plant herself between Jessica and the baby, and growl, a low, steady sound that sent chills down Emily's spine. It wasn't random, it was protective. One afternoon, Emily peeked into the nursery and saw Bella lying right at the crib's base, eyes fixed on Jessica, who was gently rocking Noah. Bella didn't move. She didn't blink. She just watched. The moment Jessica stepped closer to adjust the baby blanket, Bella stood up. Her fur bristled. Her body blocked the crib. "Bella, no," Emily scolded, stepping in. Jessica let out a nervous laugh, holding up her hands. "She really doesn't like me, does she said, trying to sound light. Emily forced a smile, but couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a dog's bad mood. Bella had never acted like this before, not with neighbors, not with delivery drivers, not even with the old babysitter. She'd always been sweet, trusting, eager to make friends. But around Jessica, she turned into a quiet sentinel, guarding Noah like he was in danger. Still, Emily didn't want to make a scene. Jessica had excellent references. She was patient, attentive, and Noah seemed calm in her arms. Maybe Bella was being overly possessive. Maybe Emily was too. But as the days passed, Bella's vigilance grew. She wouldn't leave the nursery door. If locked out, she'd whine, scratch, even howl. When allowed in, she stayed glued to Noah's side, eyes never leaving Jessica. At night, Emily found herself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the day in her mind. Every growl, every glare, every time Bella inserted herself between the nanny and her child. Something wasn't right. But what could she do? Fire a nanny over a dog's instincts? She felt torn, caught between logic and an unsettling fear she couldn't explain. Still, one thing was certain. Bella saw something, and Emily was starting to believe she should start seeing it too. Emily told herself she was being paranoid. Jessica had been nothing but polite. She showed up on time, kept the house tidy, and always had a calm tone when caring for Noah. But Bella's behavior didn't change, it intensified. And then Noah started to change too. At first, it was subtle. He began sleeping longer than usual, sometimes for hours at a stretch during the day. Emily chalked it up to growth spurts or teething, but soon she noticed he was skipping feedings. He'd sleep right through them, barely stirring, even when she tried to wake him. When he was awake, he seemed off, sluggish. His once bright eyes looked glassy. His little arms felt heavier in her embrace, and his reactions were slow, delayed. One day, Emily returned home earlier than expected. The house was silent, no lullabies playing, no soft baby coos. Jessica sat in the nursery, reading a book while Noah lay still in his crib. His breathing was steady, but something felt wrong. He wasn't just asleep, he was deeply, unnaturally asleep. "He's been so tired today," Jessica said with a strained smile. "Just wore himself out this morning." Emily forced a nod, but her stomach churned. She leaned over the crib, gently brushing Noah's cheek. He didn't stir, not even a twitch. Her heart beat faster. Bella, locked in the laundry room to keep her from interfering, began to whine again, low, insistent, and anxious. That night, Emily sat on the couch, Noah asleep upstairs, Bella curled at her feet. She couldn't shake the unease. This wasn't just about Bella anymore. Something was wrong with her son, and her dog knew it. The next morning, Emily paid close attention. She tasted the milk before handing it off. Normal. She watched Noah's reactions, still slow. Then later that afternoon, she picked up his bottle of herbal tea, something Jessica had started making for him as part of his nap routine. It smelled bitter. Curious, she took a tiny sip. Her eyes widened. The taste was unmistakable. Sleep medication. Over the counter, mild but potent enough for a baby. A chill raced down her spine. Her hands trembled. Pieces began falling into place. Noah's deep sleep, Bella's constant warnings, Jessica's nervous smiles. Emily's blood ran cold. This wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was real. Something terrible was happening right under her nose. Emily's hands were shaking as she set the bottle down. Her heart pounded so hard it echoed in her ears. She couldn't believe what she'd just tasted. It wasn't tea. It was laced with something unmistakably bitter, something that didn't belong anywhere near her child. Sleep medication. The same kind she kept in the back of her bathroom cabinet. Over the counter, yes, but dangerous for a baby. Her breath caught. She rushed upstairs, her mind racing with every horrible possibility. Bursting into the nursery, she found Noah asleep in his crib, his little chest rising and falling slowly, too slowly. She called his name, gently shook his arm. No response. "Noah, baby, wake up," she whispered, her voice trembling. Nothing. In the hallway, Bella started barking, loud and sharp, no longer just a growl of warning, but a call to action. Emily turned to Jessica, who had just stepped out of the guest bathroom. Her face went pale when she saw Emily holding the half-full bottle. What's going on?" Jessica asked, her voice unsteady. "You tell me," Emily snapped, her fear turning into fury. "What did you put in his drink?" Jessica froze. I just wanted him to nap easier. He cried so much and—" "Oh my God," Emily whispered, clutching Noah to her chest. "You drugged my baby?" "I only gave him a tiny bit," Jessica said, backing away, hands trembling. "It just helped him sleep through the day. That's all." Emily didn't wait another second. She grabbed her phone and dialed 911, her hands barely steady enough to type the numbers. The operator answered. Emily could barely get the words out. "I think my nanny's been drugging my son. Please, I need help, now." As she waited for the ambulance and police, Emily held Noah tightly, checking his breathing every few seconds, her heart breaking with every shallow inhale. Bella sat by her side, alert and calm, as if she had been waiting for this moment all along. And in that moment, Emily knew Bella had been trying to protect Noah from the very beginning. She had seen what Emily had refused to see. The truth was out now, and it had nearly come too late. The flashing red and blue lights lit up the quiet street as the ambulance and police arrived within minutes. Emily stood barefoot at the doorway, still holding Noah tightly against her chest. He had started to stir, just a little. his fingers twitching, his breathing growing stronger, but he was still far from normal. Paramedics rushed in and took over, gently checking his vitals and preparing him for transport. Emily climbed into the back of the ambulance without hesitation, refusing to let go of her son for even a second. Inside the house, police officers questioned Jessica, who had gone pale and quiet, tears streaming down her face. She didn't resist when they placed her in handcuffs. "I didn't mean to hurt him," she kept saying. "I just needed a break. He cried all the time. I couldn't take it anymore." But the damage was done, and her confession was all they needed. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what Emily had feared. Traces of sleep medication were found in Noah's system. Luckily, the dosage hadn't been enough to cause long-term harm, but they emphasized how dangerous it could have been. A few more doses, and the outcome might have been tragically different. Emily sat silently in the hospital chair, holding Noah's tiny hand, overwhelmed by everything that had happened. Later that night, after Noah was stabilized and fast asleep in a monitored crib, Emily finally returned home. Bella was waiting at the front door, tail wagging slowly, eyes full of concern. Emily dropped to her knees and wrapped her arms around the dog, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You knew," she whispered. "You knew all along." Bella licked her face gently, then patted over to sniff Noah's blanket, which Emily had brought from the hospital. She nudged it softly, then laid down beside it, letting out a quiet sigh, as if her job was finally done. From that moment on, Emily saw Bella differently, not just as a pet, but as a guardian, a protector, a hero. The betrayal she had experienced cut deep, but it was Bella's loyalty, her unwavering instinct that saved her son. And Emily would never ignore her again. If this story moved you even half as much as it did us, we want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Emily's shoes? Have you ever experienced a moment where your pet sensed danger before you did? Tell us in the comments. We read every single one. This channel is all about powerful, real-life moments that remind us how strong the bond between humans and animals can be. Your voice matters here, and your perspective could help someone else who's facing a similar situation. Also, let us know where you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories travel around the world. Whether you're in the US, Europe, Asia, or somewhere in between, you're part of our Tales and Truths family. And if you believe animals have instincts worth listening to, or if you've ever had a pet do something unexpectedly heroic, we'd especially love to hear your story. So go ahead, drop a comment below. Let's build a space where people can connect, reflect, and share. We'll see you in the next one. And trust us, tomorrow's story is just as unforgettable. Don't miss it.